Trump, Putin, Russian collusion.
Trump, Russian sort of collusion.
Trump, Russian, possible collusion. Trump, Russian, metal collusion. Trump.
Have you seen any evidence of collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign?
Wolf, that's not something that I can comment on at this point.
Is that true?
Well, I can't comment on who may or may not be the subject of investigation. Well, unfortunately, most of that I really can't comment on. I can't comment on who Bob Mueller may be looking at. I can't comment on what evidence we've been presented. I can't comment on what's been presented to us. I can't comment on whether those reports are accurate. I can't comment on what Bob Mueller may or may not be investigating. I can't really comment on them specifically. I can't comment on what our committee is looking into. Beyond that, what's in the public domain, I really can't comment. I can't answer that in terms of the investigation. I can't comment on the content of any material. I can't comment on anything we may be learning privately. I can't comment beyond the public reports. I can't comment, and I can't comment. I can't comment. I can't comment, and I can't comment. Chris, I can't comment on that.
With Mr. Kushner and Mr. Manafort in the meeting, we were and are under attack by a hostile foreign power. And they seem to be abetting that hostile foreign power. We should be debating how many sanctions we should place on Russia, or whether we should blow up the KGB or GSU, GRU. I mean, we should be retaliating massively. Because, by the way, if I were a Trump supporter, I would want to retaliate massively because it has tainted his victory.
Senior international correspondent is Ben Wiedemann. He is live for us on the Syrian border. We can see the sun is coming up, Ben, so good morning to you there. You are there on that border. It's daylight now. What's the reaction?
Well, the reaction, I mean, what we've heard from the Syrian media, we've been reporting on, no reaction from those people who have borne the brunt of the aggression by the Syrian regime now for well over 6 years. But it's important to keep in mind when looking at the situation in Syria that the vast number of the victims of this regime, more than 400,000, they were killed by the regime, not by ISIS. And therefore, many Syrians will be happy to see some sort of punishment
To another Fox News alert for you. Some brand new warnings that North Korea could strike U.S. shores with a nuclear missile within a year. This as Iran looks to conduct their own launch.
China has revealed that it recently test-fired a new guided missile in the northeastern Bohai Sea close to the Korean peninsula.
In other news, China has sent its Shuan H-6 strategic bombers near Taiwan and Japan. They were sent on Thursday.
This popped up on the radar a bit earlier. U.S. officials criticizing an encounter between a U.S. military plane and 2 jets from China. This happening Wednesday over the East China Sea, happened over international airspace. The American plane was conducting a routine mission searching for signs of nuclear activity in North Korea. U.S. officials calling the encounter with China unprofessional.
Simmering in the South China Sea, after a U.S. warship sailed only 12 nautical miles from the tiny Triton Island. Its 1.2 square kilometers are claimed by China, Taiwan and Vietnam. The U.S. says the operation was meant to demonstrate freedom of navigation in disputed waters. But for Beijing, it's a provocation.
The U.S. has once again dispatched a warship to enter the territorial waters of China's Paracel Islands without permission. This is a serious, provocative political and military move. The Chinese government expresses strong dissatisfaction and is resolutely opposed to the conduct of the United States.
Pyongyang launched a ballistic missile early Sunday morning. What's significant about this act is that it comes just a few days after the new South Korean president, with a friendlier approach to inter-Korean relations, is sworn into office.
Greg, what do you think? Could there be new offensive actions by the North? That is a real possibility, according to U.S. officials, Shannon, who are speaking with Fox News and telling them that there is activity at a launch site which has been used by North Korea to launch missiles in the past.
U.S. Special Operations Forces are ready to strike at North Korea's nuclear facilities and other sites housing weapons of mass destruction in the event of a future conflict. Testifying to Congress on Wednesday, Army General Raymond Thomas said elite U.S. military commandos have been training to neutralize the regime's nuclear and missile capabilities if necessary.